Taylor Moxey is an entrepreneur, author, CEO, and philanthropist. She starts her career at 8 years old. Taylor turned a $40 loan into the enterprise, Taylor Moxey LLC. Her cupcake company, Taylor the Chef, inspired her to write the book The Adventures of Taylor the Chef. Also, she created a collection of daily mantra cards called Moxivation, which ultimately led her to launch the Taylor Moxey Foundation. She opened mobile libraries in Bahamas, Miami, and West Palm Beach. Taylor earned awards like the Woman of the Year, the Youth Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Barack Obama President's Volunteer Service Award, and she received the honor of August 18 being proclaimed as Taylor Moxey Day in Miami. She gave a TED Talk and had been invited to TV and social media programs like NBC, Miami Herald, BBC, Wall Street Journal, Cooking Channel, Voyage Magazine, and more. We welcome Taylor Moxey.
Hello, Taylor. How is everything?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are your dance classes?
They're good. They're definitely different than I'm used to because of quarantine, but I'm trying to, be positive and, be grateful that I can even take dance classes, but they're going pretty good so far, yeah.
Great. What kind of dance do you practice?
I do all kinds. I do ballet, hip-hop, I do tap, jazz, ballroom.
Wow. It is wonderful. And I can say the one that I saw on YouTube was so artistic.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. To start, tell me, what inspired you to do a library and what kind of books do you like the most?
Well, what inspired me to do a library was it's kind of just like a long story, but it's really cool. My dad actually has dyslexia, which is a reading disorder, and I remember him telling me that, and I wanted to make a difference for people that had dyslexia, whether it was a small difference or a mass difference. Like, I just wanted to help someone or some group of people with dyslexia, whatever I could do. So we were in the Bahamas, which is where my dad is from. My parents were doing some property work. And as a kid, I can't really do much property work because, of course, I don't really have that much input in terms of, property taxes and stuff. So I was just kind of there with my parents. And we were in Moxey town. And I remember kind of being just really bored. And I asked my dad, do they have any movie theaters? So, if I wanted to go, I could, preoccupy myself because they don't have any movie theaters. So then, do they have any places I can rent a movie? And he was like, no, they don't have that either. And I was just like, what? So then I asked him if they had a library, and he said no. And I was in shock with the movie theaters, but especially with the libraries. And I don't know why, but that just kind of upset me in a way because I think every kid should have accessibility to reading and books and stuff like that. So I wanted to make a difference and bring one to the town that we were in. So we got back home to Miami, and my parents and I, we were driving on the expressway, and we saw a lawnmower truck, and we were having sort of some confusion in terms of what we wanted the library to be structural-wise. We didn't want it to be a super big building, like a brick and mortar library. I wanted something more portable and something, more interactive, so other people could also have the opportunity to go to the library if it's needed. So we were kind of just driving, and I was, thinking, and I saw a lawnmower truck, and I was like, that could be my library. So I pointed out my window. I was like, look at this. And my parents looked, and they're like, what is that? And I was like, I think that could be the library. And they thought it was genius. They were like, oh my God, why didn't we think of that? So we ended up getting one. And then we had a local artist named Gigi, and he came in. I kind of gave my input on what I wanted the outside to look like, and he painted it. It was great. It was super cool. And then we got thousands of book donations, which was insane because it was just the first library. So just getting thousands of book donations, and I was just kind of in shock that that many people wanted to contribute to a library, and they saw what the difference it could have made, and it did make. So I was really inspired and happy with that, and then we ended up shipping it to the Bahamas, and then it's still there now. It's like a really big hit. And I'd say my favorite genre of books, I love like drama books. I just think they're really cool. It's like you get to like see different point of views and different characters, and you kind of grow to love different characters and grow to dislike certain characters, and then they kind of just change on you. So maybe that kind of book, or just like fictional reading. I love those.
You have a good taste in books.
Thank you.
Can you mention one book of them?
One book. This is not really a drama book, but it's a fictional book. It's called Wonder. I love that book. That was one of the first books I've read more than like 3 times. I've read it. I watched the movie. Like, I love it because it's so relatable to so many other kids, and I feel like it's so important to show individuality and also just to relatability to other kids and not just stick to a stereotype. I think it's really cool that, you know, someone else decided to make a book for people that might not have as much representation.
Yeah. Talking about this, do you plan to create another book similar to The Adventures of Tyler the Chef?
Yes, I love writing, so anytime that I can kind of fit in any like writing time, I try to do it. I have been mentioning it a while. We've been working on it. Of course, with quarantine, I have a lot more time now to kind of go over what I want to do and stuff. I've always wanted to write a cookbook, so maybe it'll be a cookbook. No, maybe. But I definitely want to write more books because it's super fun to just like write and then, you know, have other people read it and get inspired or get ideas and stuff like that. I think that's really cool.
Really cool. As for your foundation, I know that you have some volunteers working with you. I would like to know more about the work of the volunteers and how people can collaborate with your projects.
Of course. So I have a few friends. One of my really good friends, we've been friends since we were like 6. Her name's Luna, and she's been doing a ton of volunteer work for us since the beginning of my foundation. And it's really cool because I can involve my friends and we can have like a great time, but we're also giving back. Another one of my best friends that I've known since I was like 6 or 7, her name's Milena. She's an actress and she does modeling and stuff. And she's been doing a bunch of stuff with our foundation since the beginning. So it's really cool to have like your friends and even family. Sometimes like my cousins come and they help us. It's really cool to just involve people in your life to, you know, give back to others, because not only is it just fun, but they're also helping, and it's a big community of just love and compassion for other people. And how you can kind of be a part of that, my Instagram, Taylor Moxey Foundation, you can DM us on that. That's my website. There's like a thing on the Taylor Moxey Foundation. You could just email and say what you want to do, and we'll definitely get back to that one.
Well, I think that
on Instagram and DM.
Very impressive.
It's like the most common way nowadays. Yeah, but that's it. That's pretty much it.
Great. And also, I saw in your website that your foundation joined forces with Foundation Techo to build homes in Haiti and Latin America. In what way your foundation contributes to Techo?
So Techo actually came around in the very beginning of my whole kind of foundation. When it first started, I was at Art Basel, which is a pretty common like art gallery like week that they have in Miami, and a bunch of artists from all over the world come and they sell their paintings, or they, you know, make galleries and people come and enjoy that. And I was lucky enough one year to have like a stand at Art Basel in a pretty popular like area where a lot of people were walking and passing by. So I got a lot of attention from that. And before the whole Art Basel thing happened, I remember after my cornbread cook-off and I got the interview and all that kind of blew up, I remember I think it was when we first started building my library, and the artist Gigi had some connection to Techo, and we kind of got it from that. So I don't know. It was just a lot, and it happened so fast. But what we do is we helped build. I think it was over 100 homes in Latin America, which was amazing because that was just the beginning. So, like, imagine how much we could build now, especially in times like this. I think coming together and, having compassion and love for others is just really important. Not to give anything for granted. It's really something we all keep in mind, especially people like teenagers with social media. I don't forget that people are struggling, so it's really cool, stuff like that.
Which countries in Latin America?
I think it was Ecuador. I can't remember. I was like 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to get back to you on that one because it really there's a lot.
No, yeah, I understand that. Well, August 18th been proclaimed as Taylor Moxey Day in Miami. This is because there are events and people that stand out in history, just as you have. I would like to know who stand out in history for you, who is an example for you.
There's a lot of people. Martin Luther King is one of them. Rosa Parks. There's like people today that inspired me. My parents inspire me. Like just people I see all around me that are making a difference inspire me because I think Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, they were such like groundbreakers. They kind of just broke barriers that no one else expected people to break. So I think it paved a way for people like me and in the next generations on to kind of be more comfortable and be not have any fear to just break barriers and to just be yourself and do whatever you feel like is necessary for the world.
What is your advice for entrepreneurs who want to start a business with low budget like you did? I give this advice to everyone that I come across that kind of ask that question. It's just never saying you can't do something. I think the word can is such a limitation on just life in general. There's so many people that say that they can't do something and then they end up not even doing it or even trying it because their mind all of a sudden is like, oh, that doesn't happen, that can't happen. Just not saying can't, believing in yourself, I think that's a really important one. Especially with younger people, you have so many influences from, not even just your peers, but older people, even sometimes your parents kind of have kind of negative influences on your brain. They're kind of just telling you, wait till you're 18, wait until you're 21, wait until you're this age, and you have this done. But I think just believing in yourself and kind of going for it and trusting your gut is something that I really try to preach to everyone that I talk to. And also just like finding a problem in your community. I feel like that's not the hardest part about this, like the whole entrepreneurial thing, but I think just finding a cause that you're passionate about, not that other people are necessarily going for. Do something that you're passionate about and that you're driven to do, and don't follow the crowd, be a trendsetter. To finish, I want to know what are your future plans?
I have a lot. I dance, so I would love to be a professional dancer. I definitely want to keep my business up, kind of grow it, hopefully build more libraries. We're actually building a few soon. We're actually going to go to Haiti for spring break to kind of scout. We stay home, stay safe, but more libraries, hopefully more books, just more motivational speaking, all that kind of stuff. Just stuff that inspires me, and I just want to grow and expand on what I already have now and hopefully do more in the future.
Taylor Moxey, we have come to the end of this interview. Your work is inspiring for your desire to help and motivate people or motivate people. Thank you to be with me today.
Of course, thank you for having me.